All right, Paul Thomas at Westside Mixed Martial Arts out here in Katy. Tell us a little bit about how you first got involved in mixed martial arts.
Wow, man, that's a long story. Let me see, I started doing judo in the 80s, and then I got a chance to go to Brazil on a student exchange thing. And I thought jiu-jitsu was a bunch of bullshit, to be honest with you. And I said, well, I'm just going to go down there and kick all the Gracie's asses and come back with my own black belt. When I got down there, I realized that there was a lot more to jiu-jitsu than what I thought. Again, you know, I was a judo guy, so I thought I knew what groundwork was. And when I went to Brazil, I found out that I really didn't know any groundwork at all. So it took me some 12 years later to finally get my black belt when I thought I'd have it after a few months.
How long did you spend down there in Brazil?
All in all, I spent about a year's time. I've been there 3 times, each time for a 4-month stint. Back then, the jiu-jitsu was a lot more Vale Tudo oriented, to get back to your original question. And Vale Tudo is like the original mixed martial arts, you know. It means almost anything goes in Portuguese. And so I got a chance to learn how the Brazilians, and this is in the early 90s when Royce Gracie had just fought in the UFC. And the Brazilians were coming out and just demolishing everybody. I mean, just killing them with basic stuff. And I got a chance to see up close and firsthand exactly what the Brazilians were doing. And when I got down there, I said, this is what I want to do. I loved it so much more than judo. I said, this is judo plus grappling plus mixed martial arts. So I started doing that, started teaching Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a long time. There's at the time, now there's black belts all over the place in the Houston Metroplex. But back then, the skills that I had as a grappler were needed for young MMA fighters. So I always had people approaching me saying they want to do MMA. I worked a lot with Ricky McLemore, a good friend of mine. You know, Elvis Solis had already been producing MMA fighters. And Jade Mountain Martial Arts, I started a little jiu-jitsu club. And a bunch of my young guys were starting to get into it at the same time that UFC reality show was coming along. And that's what really gave mixed martial arts in the United States a big push forward, is that UFC reality show. That brought it into people's homes. People said, man, this stuff's really cool. Before I knew it, I had a line of people, you know, waiting to get into my little jiu-jitsu school. So we moved locations. We came over here. We found some investors and built it up. I think I have the largest mixed martial arts facility here in Texas by square foot. I think Zopio Mid's probably got more students than me.
How long have you been here?
I have been here 3 years.
It's just amazing, really, isn't it? The explosion of the sport, you say, in the last 3, 4, 5 years, wouldn't you say? It
is fantastic, man, how much. I'll tell you a surreal moment. I was at a bar with my wife, and there's this biker talking to this other guy, and Minotoro's fighting Yoshida in the Pride, and this biker turns around to this yuppie-looking guy, and he says, now he's fixing to put him into a Kimura. And then I thought, man, this is so weird. It's like, for the last 10 years, you know, I've known who Yoshida was, I've known who Minotoro was, and I know what Kimuras were. But here I am in this bar, and these guys I don't even know are talking about this stuff, and knowing the sport, knowing the techniques. And that's how popular it got, you know. And then the guy turns around to me and he goes, you know anything about mixed martial arts? And I said to him, I know you're not going to believe me, but that guy on the TV set, Minotoro, he gave me my blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And then he said, he just laughed it off. He said, you're full of shit. I'm like, okay. But it's amazing when we can walk down the street, anybody out there knows what the UFC is. I mean, going from, as I remember when McCain tried to shut it down in the mid-90s, I mean, it really went underground, and there was only a handful of us in Houston that were doing it, and now it's just blown up. I'm so happy about that.
And how do you describe, say, the philosophy of, I guess if you want to call it Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is your specialty then, how do you describe the philosophy of that as compared to other disciplines, shall we say, in other sports?
Does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu have a philosophy?
I don't know, does it?
No, I'm joking. No, I mean, it does have a philosophy, and it's very important. The essence of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu isn't submission, but it's to create better people, to create, build character and discipline in young people. But unlike Taekwondo or karate, we put all that Zen stuff on the back burner, you know. It's like Jiu-Jitsu fighters and MMA guys aren't so much interested in finding Zen or finding spiritual awareness or meditating or doing forms as they are, you know, learning to fight. But learning to fight in and of itself is a Zen thing, you know. I mean, when I say Zen, it's like you find Zen in anything, right? Like I read, there's a real popular book in the 80s called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Repair, you know. As this guy who really got into his motorcycle, he found, you know, a certain amount of peace there. And you could do that with any kind of martial art, any art. You could be a Zen potter. But like once you really delve into mixed martial arts, and once you really delve into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you'll see that there is a technology and art, science behind it. And then as you really study it, you put together the pieces of a puzzle. There's something that is very a Zen-like quality about it, you know. When you roll with the right, when you're having one of those good days and you're rolling with the right people and you're like going into submissions, escaping submissions, you know, doing reversals and passing the guard. I mean, you're very in the moment, you know. But the byproduct of that is that you can't be an asshole into mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu. I mean, a jerk can't survive in jiu-jitsu, you know. If he comes in here and tries to act like a bully, or in fact, one of the maxims of jiu-jitsu in old Japan by Jigoro Kano was maximal efficiency with minimal effort and mutual welfare and benefit for everyone. So like if you come into jiu-jitsu and you're kind of a bully, you just want to get good yourself, and you're like throwing the hurt on all your training partners, then you're not going to get very far before someone beats you up or throws you out. You're going to find yourself alone, you know? And the byproduct is you become a better person, and you learn to trust people, and you make really good friends, and you learn how to become a very socially evolved entity.
And mixed martial arts is really a lifestyle and a subculture all its own.
Oh yeah, yeah. And that's what's so cool is like up until like let me think, around when Scott Nelson came out with OnTheMat.com, and he started making what he called these video magazines, where they would like follow these guys around, and his motto is train hard, fight hard, party hard. You know, they show like Eddie Bravo doing things that maybe he shouldn't be. You know, I mean, it is completely different kind of lifestyle. And, you know, I, like so many others, I thought I was all by myself. You know, I thought, well, you know, I want to do martial arts, I want to fight, I want to grapple. But, you know, I'm all alone, like with my thoughts of like, I'm more interested in the reality of things. I'm more interested in being, at the time, a young man and doing things that young men do, and not so much interested in becoming a Buddhist priest, you know, which was the way it was. If you recall, it was like Kung Fu was very big in the 70s, David Carradine, you know, and then I thought, man, you know, I'm all alone, and then all of a sudden I find out that there's a whole world of like jerks just like me, or should I say normal people just like me.
And now it just seems like kind of the sky's the limit for the future of the sport here in the Houston area. A lot of tournaments and fights and you know, a lot of activities going on here, and it just seems like it never stops.
Oh man, it's amazing now how much, you know, I remember when Saul Solis used to have his little renegade shows, and you know, it would just be like maybe like 30 or 40 people would show, you know, and they'd have to do it open-handed because it wasn't approved by the Boxing Commission. We're trying to circumvent the Boxing Commission or the Combative Sports Commission. And now, man, he fills out the Verizon. I mean, Saul is really kicking butt. And what's more, it's becoming more integrated with California, the East Coast, West Coast. It's all starting to come together. But, you know, Texas is still about 10 years behind, which is good for us. You know, Texas is about 10 years behind the rest of the nation in mixed martial arts. And we really have got a long way to go. Now, we produce some good fighters, and there's some badasses in Texas, don't get me wrong. But generally, when you go see an amateur show, we're a little bit behind, but we're catching up quickly, very quickly.
All right, thanks for your time, and best of luck to you.
Hey, thanks.